girls aren't carded tonight. All right.
Right, that's right. I just wanted to say good evening and welcome everyone. My name is Mark Goldsmith. I am a past Big Ten club president and a proud Northwestern Wildcat. And if we have any Spartans on the thing, I think Derek said we can cut them off, right? We can just
Me too.
mute all of them. Welcome everybody. Welcome everybody from Big Ten schools and guests and people from all over the world, apparently. We are going to have some prizes and some trivia that's going to come up pretty quickly. We encourage you to mix and mingle through the chat. That is also how the trivia is going to work. The first person that answers the question, some questions have prizes, some don't. The first person that answers the question correctly is going to get a prize. So do that through the chat. And I just wanted to say that this is your chance to mix and mingle. This is normally one of our favorite events of the year, the Person of the Year event. And of course, this year we're honoring legendary baseball player from the Los Angeles Dodgers, San Diego Padres, and there was another place he played at.
Michigan State. Michigan State.
Michigan State.
I can sing the fight song if you want.
Northwestern Wildcat.
You got us good. You deserve that. But it's an honor and a pleasure to have you, Mr. Garvey.
Thank you.
Well, no, thank you sincerely. And I think it is obviously appropriate. We've been sort of alluding to it, but there is a white elephant in the room, and no, it is not Illinois, Brian. It is that we are on Zoom and not together in person. And unfortunately, we are living in a virtual society, as we just talked about. And I think we all should know that it is what it is for now. It is not going to be forever. And I came up with an expression, and you can steal it as long as you give me credit. And that is today on Zoom, tomorrow in the room. So just hold out faith and know that the vaccine is coming, things are going to get better, and we're going to have a fantastic future ahead of us. And we're still together. I mean, this community is still together. We are here because of the Big Ten Club. We are here because of the Tournament of Roses. We are here because of our college teams. We are here because of the Los Angeles Dodgers. And we're here because of Steve Garvey. Every element in this virtual room helps create a community through charity, through giving, through service. And I want everybody to just take a moment and see what we have created and the fact that we are serving you and you are serving us. And that is what communion and community is. And I also wanted to say that, again, somebody else said it earlier, tonight is the first night of Hanukkah, Christmas and Kwanzaa in a few weeks. And then, thank heavens, New Year's and 2021, so we can put this crazy, crazy year behind us. And we're going to have the most incredible, fantastic 2021, not in comparison, but on its own. It is going to be a phenomenal and a great year. And I would like everybody to raise a glass of whatever you might have, not if you're driving. Unless you walk.
Starbucks cup.
Arizona iced tea.
Arizona iced tea is great, or a bottle of water, whatever you have. But I just wanted to say to everybody, I wish you a happy, healthy, prosperous, and successful 2021. It is an honor to be a part of this community. We welcome you. You feed our souls, and hopefully we do the same for you. And you're in for a real treat with Steve Garvey coming up real soon. But we are going to jump to some trivia questions so people can get some fantastic prizes and see which schools, Northwestern, is the smartest and can answer some of these questions that Derek and I put together.
Oh, well, look at this.
Oh my gosh, look at how fancy we are.
We are fancy.
All right, we're gonna jump into Big Tails trivia. Mark, we're gonna do a speed round because we're at 6:55. Yeah.
All right, we're going fast. We're going fast. I'm ready.
The trick is, people, attendees, panelists alike, if you would like to be considered for a prize, all you have to do is put your answer in the little chat room. It's A, B, C, or D. So Mark is going to read the questions. Mr. Garvey, you can chime in at any time. I realize you're on a phone, so you might not be able to see it, but this is going to be a speed round. Mark, are you ready?
I am ready. I'm ready.
All right, we have 10 questions. Imagine that.
All right, in what year? First question, what year was the Big Ten Conference formed? 1776 is A, B is 1896, C is 1913, and D is 1922.
Oh, I see
What
it,
is the
David.
answer?
We got some
I
fast
see it,
ones.
David Henkes. Look at that
Uh-oh.
guy.
All right, there you go.
Yeah. And you win
Answer.
nothing, buddy. Good question.
All right.
Yeah, let's go on. Number 2.
Okay.
Go for it.
Number 2, in what year was the Big Ten Club of Southern California formed? A, 1911, B, 1922, C, 1933, or D, 1944?
I feel like that was
It's like Adam.
Hussman. Yeah, good call. I like it.
We
Okay,
got answers?
Oh, sorry.
All right.
C. Yeah, that was
Take-
right. 1933. Look at this beautiful picture of all
Yep,
these people.
got it. There you go.
You
Yeah,
can
I
see
think
Brian. You can see
Brian
Brian
Harris
the
is
upper
in
left
there,
corner.
right here. All right, number 3. Let's go.
All right. Number 3, in what year did the Big Ten form its relationship with the Rose Bowl game? A, 1934, B, 1938, C, 1946, or D, 1955?
Do we know it?
Put your
Yes.
answers in the chat. 1946.
Like
There you
Scott.
1946.
And Laura Farber, it's not fair for you to answer.
No, I had to. It's just for fun.
It's the competitive side of you,
This is for
automatically.
fun.
Who won that game?
Looks like Scott Chartrand won that one.
No, who won that football game though?
I think
well-
Northwestern.
Nope, negative. So the deal was in 1946. The first Rose Bowl game between the Pac-10, Big Ten, or Big 9 at the time was Illinois, who beat the Bruins
Hey,
45-14.
Why is she doing that?
Brian.
They don't win a
yay.
lot, so celebrate.
Congratulations, Brian. Okay,
All right,
what
question 4.
year? Yes, what year was the first college baseball game played, and in what state? A, 1849, Wisconsin. B, 1851, Iowa. C, 1853, Ohio. Or D, 1859, Massachusetts.
Boom. D, 1859, Massachusetts.
Yay.
Ooh,
The
Mark
score
Mannion.
of that game was 73-32. And the winner they determined was the first to get to 65. And then they scored 8 more runs during that inning. So,
No
What do you do?
mercy rule. No mercy rule
Wow.
back then.
yes. Yeah. All right, next. Question 5.
All right, here we go. Now it's getting exciting. What year was Steve Garvey inducted into the Michigan State Hall of Fame? A, 1990, B, 2000, C, 2010, or D, 2020? You can't yell it.
Oh, boy. I think he wins. There's no prize for it. Whatever.
I hope he got that one right.
Here's the correct answer. All right, here we go. This is for
All right.
prizes.
These
So
are
get
for
ready.
prizes. Text in the message. Don't yell it out. Okay, here we go. Question
Actually,
number
Mark,
6.
you don't text. You just put
Right.
in the known. Okay.
Okay, everything.
There you go. Go ahead.
All right. Okay, number 6. In addition to Steve Garvey, what other Spartan became a very famous standout LA Dodgers player? A, Magic Johnson, B, Kirk Gibson, C, Bubba Smith, or D, Gorman Thomas?
The answer was B. Corum Thomas.
Somebody
All right.
wins a prize. Somebody wins a
Somebody
prize.
wins a prize.
David
All right,
Henkhaus.
We'll save the chat. We'll go through it. Who won it?
Okay.
David Henkhaus.
Oh,
Wow.
nice. Hank won again. I put in Gorman because of the stash, Hank.
Yep,
All right.
but
Number
you know,
7. Here goes again.
All right, question number 7. In 1974, did Steve Garvey start the All-Star game as a write-in vote or win the NL MVP? A, write-in, B, NL MVP, C, both, D, neither.
Boom. C. Both. Write-in and NL MVP. He was one of only 2 players who started an All-Star game with a write-in vote doing in 1974. And he also won the NL MVP.
Over 1 million write-in votes. A little addendum.
Wow.
That's a good
Isn't that
addendum.
That's
That's-
amazing.
See?
Yeah, you
That's
get to
why
vote
we have color
5
commentary. by
times a
Steve
day
Garvey.
on the internet.
Steve did
I-
research on himself today.
I got to say, one of my favorite things growing up was filling out the paper ballots at the stadium and turning it in. Those were good memories.
Really were. I've got I've got the ballots from that year, but I also ended up with about a dozen of the write-ins, and it was
Oh, wow.
really charming because you had to
So-
write your name, you had to write your address, and it was something. It really was.
That's
There
awesome.
wasn't any voter fraud. There wasn't
Yeah,
any.
voter fraud, right? Yeah, we did some
All right.
harvesting in some places.
Question
around the
number
country.
8. Question number 8.
All right. Question number 8. Here we go. How many errors did Steve Garvey commit in his 159 games in 1984? A, 0, B, 2, C, 7, or D, 158?
That's funny.
The answer is oh,
0.
0. 1984, Garvey set record is the only first baseman in history to commit no errors while playing 150 or more games. He handled
That great.
1,319 total chances.
Thanks to my Rawlings Heart of the Hide first base mitt.
Nice.
That's
I was
incredible.
the one who had the 100.
A little plug.
Yeah. I was 158 errors in the league too. So,
Yeah.
oops.
Oh, the fields are bad. A lot of bad
Daniel,
hops.
Tiffany, I hope we recorded a winner on that. Yeah. Was it me? Scott? Okay.
We got a
Nice.
winner. We got a winner. Okay.
Yeah. Scott.
Question number 9. What number jersey did Steve Garvey wear with the Dodgers and then with the Padres? A, 6 and then 16, B, 6 and then 26,
No.
C, 6 and then 36, or D, 6 and 6?
And the answer is D, 6 and 6.
There you go.
Is there a story behind the number 6, Steve?
No. Well, a longer story is, I had a chance to become a bat boy for the Brooklyn Dodgers in training back at the age of 7 and 56. And the clubhouse man then had an assistant by the name of Nobi Kawano. Now, when I came up on September 1st of 1969, and because I had a chance to bat boy 2 or 3 times each year for about 6, 7 years, Nobi actually remembered me. So rarely do you get a single digit number as a rookie. But I got to my locker about 10 o'clock on a Sunday morning. I flew in from Albuquerque, and there was number 6 in my locker. And I looked at Nobi, and he had this smile on his face. So he said, you did good as a bat boy, so I'm giving you single digit.
Wow.
Nobi,
That's awesome.
thank you.
Awesome.
And it stuck with me. And then Tim Flannery, when I went to San Diego, he wore number 6. He was a heck of a utility player. Later went on to coach with Bruce Bochy in San Francisco. But once I got there, the press conference, he came up and he said, Garb, he said, I want you to have my number. I said, Tim, thanks. I said, I'm going to get you something special. So when we got back from spring training, I took him, I think, Nordstrom's and got him a purple label Ralph Lauren pinstripe suit. And every time I see him, he says, I still have it in the bag, Garb. It's too expensive for me to wear. Probably have to have it altered a little bit now too. But aside from that,
Very nice. All right, thank you. All right, so we have one last question for your prize, and I also just want to shout out that our friend, the commissioner of the Big Ten, Kevin Warren, just joined us. So he just stepped away, but just beware on our best behavior.
Yes.
Number 10. Oh, there he is. Welcome back.
Here we are. We good? Yeah, there he is. All right, we ready?
The last
question.
The last question.
The last prize. Question number 10. You show and I'll. All right, here we go. How many
wait a
consecutive
second,
games?
wait a minute. Since it's number 10, the winner's going to get an autograph ball from me. Major League.
Whoa.
Signed by the commissioner.
Can I put my answer in right now?
Yeah, I'm putting mine in right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Number 10. Here we go.
Okay, how many consecutive games did Steve Garvey play? A, 1017, B, 1107, C, 1197, or D, 1207? And the winner is Mark Goldsmith.
Words that have never been mentioned before.
You, Mark.
Okay. The answer is D, 1,207. He set a National League record with 1,207 consecutive games played. Streak ended when he broke his thumb in a collision at home plate against the Atlanta Braves. It's the 4th longest streak in Major League Baseball history. That's quite the accomplishment.
Thank you. Still a National League record, and it looks like it might be safe for a while because they won't let guys play more than 2 weeks at a time now. So that's what you get for 10 million. You get a day off every 2 weeks. I got one every 7.5 years. So
it makes those stamina records more impressive, though. I mean, they don't make them like they used to, Steve.
It's all about dedication, compassion for what you do, work ethic, sprinkled with you're in God's hands when you play like I did. That many games. I had hyperextended elbow. I had a hairline fracture of a finger. I had hamstring. I had migraine headaches, 2 of those, and I still went out there, and the 2 migraine headaches, I laid down up until the game. The trainer said, "Can you play?" I said, "I'm going out there." First at bat, both times I hit a ball in the gap, ended up with triples, and they had to take me off the field because the field was spinning around with the stands. But that's what you do. You give it a go, and that's part of being a leader and having your players depend on you. And at the end, it took a broken thumb to keep me out. But I look back at the streak and think of it as arguably maybe the biggest statement I made during my career.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. All right. Well, thank you for that. And we're 7:07. We're 7 minutes behind, but I'm going to start this off right now with our intro. So this is our official welcome to the program. And I'm going to share my screen here to get things going. And again, welcome, Commissioner, who joined us. That's awesome that you did. Thank you so much. And we'll get to you in a little bit. Yeah. So, all right, mute if you're not talking, please, everybody. All right, so our program begins at 7. And what I'd like to start off with is the history kind of what this event means. So this is the Person of the Year honorees. And the Big Ten Club was formed in 1933. The official Big Ten football Rose Bowl coalition started in 1946. Then in 1985, we decided to honor somebody who just had some kind of remarkable influence on the community who was from a Big Ten school. So we made a little video here. It's 3 minutes long of some of our honorees. So please enjoy.
You're in good company.
Yes.
Hate New York City. It's cold and it's
Mark
damp.
Spitz of Indiana.
And all the people dressed like monkeys.
Bob Hope was our MC for many years.
Let's leave
James
Chicago.
Delaney, Big Ten Commissioner.
Eskimo.
Little John Wooden,
That time's a little bit too
Hayden Fry,
rugged
Iowa.
for you and me, you bad girl.
Keith Jackson. Tex Winter, Northwestern. Drew Brees, Purdue.
Rolling down Imperial Highway, the big nasty red at my side. Santa Ana winds blowing hot from the north.
Archie Griffin,
We were
Ohio
born
State.
to ride. Roll down the window, put down the top, crank up the Beach Boys, baby. Don't let the music stop. We gonna ride it till we just can't
Bob
ride it
Chapek,
no
the
more.
CEO of Disney. He went to both Indiana and Michigan State.
To the valley, from the west side to the east side. Everybody,
Buddy Barry Alvarez,
'cause the sun is
Wisconsin.
shining all the time. It's like another perfect day. I love LA. We love it.
Lloyd Carr, Michigan.
I love LA. We love it.
Jim and Jackie, baby.
We love it.
How's LA? Brian Harris, not to be confused with Franco Harris.
Look at that mountain. Where did he go? Look at those trees. Look at that bum over there, man. He's down
Terry
on
Lansing,
his knees.
head of
Look at these
Paramount
women.
Pictures and Northwestern.
Ain't nothing like 'em nowhere.
Pat Richter, Wisconsin.
Century Boulevard. We love it. Victory Boulevard. We love it. Santa Monica
My buddy George
Boulevard.
Johnson on the call today.
Yeah.
Packers president Mark Murphy, Northwestern.
We love LA.
Bob Miller, Iowa. Oh, for you, Elvin Chang. Steve Alford, Indiana. Chayo.
I love LA.
Rashad Mendenhall, Illinois.
I love LA.
Which brings us to Steve Garvey. So yeah, pretty impressive group, and that's one of our main events of the year. So that was all pretty awesome, and each one of those is just a wonderful honoree. Okay.
Hate New
Oh,
York
please
City.
hang on.
It's cold and it's
Let's not listen to this again. There's my remote. My remote missed.
This isn't
Okay.
easy. You're doing a great job.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
And
All
thank
right,
you for the
so-
hair and makeup too. I really appreciate it.
We do what we can. All right, so next up is I'd like to introduce Nikki Marcotta, the current president of the Big Ten Club, for an update. So Nikki, take it away. Unmute.
Hi, everyone. Nikki Marcotta, Nebraska alumni and current president of the Big Ten Club of Southern California. I just want to take this opportunity to thank everyone for coming together today. To say this year has been challenging is an understatement, and I am just so proud to be part of an organization that values connection like the Big Ten Club of Southern California does. I've been doing this with the club for, probably about, gosh, I don't even know, 5, 6, 7, 8 years now, and I can without a doubt say that these traditions are what keep us grounded in times like this. And again, I am thankful for everybody attending tonight. I'm extremely thankful for our honoree, Mr. Steve Garvey of the Los Angeles Dodgers and San Diego Padres, Dodgers only here. And I just cannot be more happy to share the stage with all of you. I do want to actually take this time to tell a pretty funny personal Steve Garvey story of mine. I actually grew up here in Los Angeles. I'm born and raised in Los Angeles, about 7 miles away from Dodger Stadium. And the Dodgers were the first professional sporting event I ever attended. In fact, this was back in the days where, it was a lot more casual to go to games. Tickets were cheaper, and people were more available. So there was a day I was getting ready to go to the game with my family. I was 3 years old, and I was quite the precocious 3-year-old. And I asked my mom to bring her camera because I was going to meet Steve Garvey that day. And she said, no, we don't want to drag our camera all the way. It's going to be and you probably won't meet Steve Garvey. She didn't want to crush my dreams. I was 3 years old. And I was like, no, today is the day that I'm going to meet Steve Garvey, because Steve Garvey was my favorite player as a kid. And so they didn't bring the camera. We go and make our way down to Dodger Stadium. And, you would get there early, watch batting practice. And Steve probably doesn't remember this, but there was a time when the players used to come up before the games and sign autographs up in the concourse. And we were on the first base side, and there was a card table or a table set up with some people from the Dodgers there. And my dad went over and asked, what are we doing, over here? I said, oh, some of the players are going to come up and sign autographs before the game. And my parents were like, you've got to be kidding me. There's no way. So we stood in line and we waited. And lo and behold, Steve Garvey came up to sign autographs that day before the game. And I got to meet Steve Garvey, just like I told my parents I would when I was 3 years old. This would have been in 1980 or 81. And Steve, I don't know if you remember this, but there was a 3-year-old that sat on your lap and just regaled you with Dodgers stories, and you're like, this is the smartest 3-year-old I've ever met in my life.
Right. Madam President, I remember you had pigtails that day. Cutest, I'm telling you. But every Sunday we used to do that. Half the team would go to different levels, and they would have these little freestanding, like a booth, and we would have these stickers, Dodger stickers, and we would sign them. And it was a great way to interact with the fans. You only did it once a month. What do we have? Maybe 10 homestands a year. But for 5 times, each month we had a chance, before a game, which is rare, to interact. So, Nikki, that's a great story. I always say the most important thing for me about the game of baseball and the life I've had in it is the interaction with the fans and with the people. I mean, that's the nourishment to the soul. I always say we're in the entertainment business, but we're also in the memory business. And it's moments like that that make it all worthwhile, and it lasts for a lifetime.
It truly does. It's a moment I will never forget. I don't have it with me, but I still have my Steve Garvey signed baseball from that day. And I can't wait to hopefully meet when we do this redo in person, and I can finally get my picture with you and show my mom that 40 years later, I finally got my picture with Steve Garvey.
Absolutely. person. I guarantee you, you'll be the next one. Thanks, Steve.
Excellent. Love it. And with that, it's my honor to actually now introduce one of the most impressive people I've ever met in my entire life, Laura Farber. Laura is just an absolute tremendous person. She is the immediate past president of the Tournament of Roses Association and chair of the Rose Bowl Management Committee. Laura was appointed to the latter for a 5-year term to oversee game policy with our conference partners and representatives. Laura is also a partner in the law firm Hahn & Hahn here in Pasadena in the practice areas of employment and litigation. Laura has been a volunteer with the Tournament of Roses Association for 28 years and presided over the January 1st, 2020 Rose Bowl Parade, as well as the 131st Rose Bowl game between Oregon and Wisconsin. Laura was the third woman and first Latina to hold this position. The theme last year was the power of hope. And I think that there is nothing more resonant than that today. And we still have this incredible hope that that was brought into our lives on January 1st, 2020. And now December 10th, we are holding on to that hope. And Laura, I could not be more thrilled to have you join us tonight. Welcome.
So much, Nikki, and to the Big Ten Club of Southern California. It's such an honor to be with you. I was able to be with you last year at your Royal Court event. And we, of course, we're doing that in person. And so this is a little bit different, but I'm still honored to be here. I want to thank you for the amazing relationship that we've had with both the Pac-12 and the Big Ten, our conference partners since 1946. And I'm thrilled that Commissioner Kevin Warren, he and I came in together and that he's here tonight. I think that is awesome for a really wonderful occasion. And that's to honor Steve Garvey, Person of the Year. And I've got my Steve Garvey story, so I get to tell that for a hot second. I grew up in this area as well. And I remember being in elementary school, and we rallied for and were given permission to watch the World Series. And we watched 3 years when the Dodgers played the Yankees. You know what those years were, 77, 78, but 81, glorious, magical year, because that's the year that the Dodgers brought it home. And I got to tell you, it was so amazing. Steve Garvey, Ron Say, Davey Lopes, and Bill Russell, that amazing infield. I will never forget that team. We knew all the players. We knew everything that you did. And it's an honor to be with you and to be here recognizing the amazing, amazing role that you've played in my childhood and my youth, and to see you here now. So I want to thank you for that. Just very special.
Oh, Laura, thank you so much. And, you know, all the work you've done, all the members of the Rose Bowl committee, from the game committee to the parade, have been an institution in Southern California, American, throughout the world. And I've been to many games. Over the last decade, I had a chance to work with Natural Balance Pet Food, and we had a float in the parade. And those were the most charming times to help build that float, and then on New Year's Day, or maybe the second sometime, to be part of that parade. And I know you were instrumental with it, and we look forward to many, many years to come in your leadership. So thank you.
Thank you so much. And on behalf of the Tournament of Roses and our 935 volunteers, and one of our immediate past presidents, Sally Bixby, that's here as well, I saw, I just want to tell you all that, you know, we're sad that we had to cancel our parade this year, but we're going to have a TV special. So tune in from 8 to 10. It'll be different, but it'll be really interesting, and I think well worth your while. And we are going to have a Rose Bowl game on January 1, 2020. Now, it won't be our traditional Big Ten Pac-12 matchup. It'll be a CFP semifinal game, but we're very excited about it. And I know you're paying attention to those CFP rankings, and if you saw this week's rankings, you know who's ranked number 4 right now, and that's The Ohio State University. And I was trained in how to properly say that, by the way. And keep in mind that you got your number 2. Okay, you got Alabama number 1, Notre Dame number 2, Clemson number 3, and then Ohio State number 4. Notre Dame and Clemson, they go head to head. They have to play each other. So good chance that one of them will drop, not low, but drop below the top 4 perhaps, and maybe move Ohio State up into either that 3 or 2 spot. Now, what that means is traditionally the number 1, and we're partnered with the Sugar Bowl this year, number 1 team picks where they go, and it's usually the closest geographic distance to where they are. So likely if Alabama maintains and keeps their number 1 spot, they're going to play in the Sugar Bowl. So they'll play 1 versus 4, and then we would get 2 versus 3. And if The Ohio State University moves up, then we would have the Buckeyes in our game. So we're looking forward to that. Now, couple things. We are not going to have fans in the stadium this year for a whole host of good reasons, and one of which is that we can't have fans given the governor's mandates and what's required by the county and our City of Pasadena Health Department. So as of this moment in time, it'll be a different experience, but you've been seeing that with sports throughout, the last, I don't know how long now it's been, it seems like forever, but since sports came back during the pandemic, whether, obviously the NBA played in the bubble, the MLB had their own sort of bubble, except for one of the finals games and of course the World Series. And now with college football, you do see differences throughout the country, but in this part of the world, there will not be fans. And I understand the Fiesta Bowl is also making the same decision with no fans. So that will be a change. That will be a difference, but it'll be a wonderful matchup. Same time, same day as of this moment, January 2020, Selection Sunday, which is December 20th. That's when the CFP will announce its rankings on ESPN. I believe it's at 9 or 9:15 in the morning. So stay tuned there. Once those selections are announced, or once the rankings are announced, obviously the pairings will follow and you'll see who's going to be in our game. And we're looking forward to it. And then of course, next year, we will be back to our wonderful Big Ten Pac-12 matchup. I must tell you that the Ohio State University, you also heard, is now eligible because of a change in what were the initial rules, is eligible to play in the Big Ten Championship, and they will play against Northwestern, the Wildcats. So you've got the East and West coming together on December 19th. That is sure to be an amazing game as well. And I want to thank both Larry Scott, the Pac-12 commissioner, and Kevin Warren, the Big Ten commissioner, for their amazing partnership with the Rose Bowl and the Rose Bowl Management Committee. I look forward to many years of partnering together and coming back and visiting this amazing Big Ten Club of Southern California. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you for your support of sports, of the Big Ten, of the Rose Bowl, and of our community here in Southern California. And such a pleasure to be with you. And again, congratulations to Steve Garvey, Person of the Year.
Thanks, Laura.
Uh,
Yay. Laura, you're going to make it happen in a year like no other. You and the Rose Bowl committee can make this as close to normal as possible. God bless and good luck.
So much.
And I think it's now, I'd like to take this time. Hi, my name is Libby Dubé, and I'm a past president of the Big Ten Club of Southern California as well. And if you can't tell by my attire or my background, I'm also a Spartan. So it's my absolute green and white pleasure to announce that it's a fellow Spartan, Steve Garvey, as our 2020 honoree for this year's Big Ten Person of the Year. Now, a little bit about Steve. I could list all his accolades, but it's probably longer than the list of Santa Claus's good, naughty kids or good kids. So I'll just give you just a few of the highlights and stuff. He was the 1974 National League Most Valuable Player Award winner. He was a 2-time National League Championship Series MVP, a 10-time All-Star, and 2-time MVP of the All-Stars. He holds the National League record for consecutive games played. That was the 1,207. That was in the trivia question. And another trivia question, he was the 2010 inductee into the Michigan State Hall of Fame. But beyond his great achievements on the field, he's equally as impressive with his philanthropy. And since 1974, Steve has dedicated his life to helping others with a philosophy, and I think I've got this right, that life is God's gift to us, but what we do with it is our gift to him. So Steve's always believed that he was blessed to reach the pinnacles of sports, and with that visibility and voice, he could help other people. And that he has done with his involvement in dozens of charities, including the Dodger Foundation, and sitting on the board of directors for Fans for a Cure, which supports prostate cancer. So I am super proud to present Big Ten Club's Person of the Year for 2020, Spartan and Dodger legend, Mr. Steve Garvey.
eh,
Steve, I
Thank
wish
you.
I was there. Now, Steve, you're not in your car yet. Are you still in your car or are you?
I still am, Libby. No, not yet. So we're going to have to make
Okay.
this a kind of a cameo looking evening tonight. But
That's
I want to
fine.
thank you. Yeah,
I
that was a
know that-
wonderful introduction. I want you to introduce me wherever I speak around the country. Okay.
Yeah, I'll be happy to. I was going to have you, I know we shipped you your award. And so I was going to
Yes.
have you open the award and show everybody your award right now. But instead, what we'll do is there were a few people who couldn't be on the Zoom tonight, but they wanted to send some congratulations. So we have a couple of letters for you. And one is from Mel Bainey, but Mel is actually on the call. He's not visible, but he is on the call right here. But he said, "Hey, Garv, Mel Bainey here. I just want to congratulate you on being named Big Ten Club of Southern California's Person of the Year. And thank you for being such a great ambassador for Michigan State University over all these years. Go State, Mel." We also got a wonderful letter from fellow former
that's
MSU baseball teammate, Bill Woolley. And we'll send you all these letters afterwards, but somewhere in the letter, Bill says, "It was clear to me that from our first freshman varsity scrimmage on Old College Field and our shared friendships with teammates and mutual friends, that you would leave your mark on the MSU baseball program, Major League Baseball and beyond, and that you have done." And he's absolutely right. So, and we also have a letter from MSU's athletic director, Bill Beekman. And instead of reading Bill's letter, Bill also was generous enough to send us a video because he wanted to say it in person. So we have a couple of videos for you from Michigan State.
That's great. Wonderful.
Hang on, here they come. Derek's got them.
Hello, Big Ten Club of Southern California. I'm Bill Beekman, Vice President and Athletic Director here at Michigan State, and I'm so excited to give a big congratulatory shout out to Steve Garvey. Steve, from the moment you hit campus, you were an extraordinary person, an extraordinary student, and obviously an extraordinary athlete. Your Grand Slam home run in your first appearance at the plate at Michigan State really set the stage for a career that led you to incredible accomplishments professionally and a great career after baseball as well. So from all of us here in East Lansing, you're home away from home. Congratulations. We hope you come back soon and grace us here on the banks of the Red Cedar. And until then, stay safe, be well, and go green.
Hello, I'm Jake Boss, head baseball coach at Michigan State University. Steve, on behalf of our baseball program, our athletic department, and our entire university, I'd like to congratulate you on you being the recipient of the 2020 Big Ten Club Person of the Year. It's an extremely well-deserved honor and one that I couldn't think of a better person to hold at this point. You've been so gracious to our program. You've been so gracious to our athletic department and our entire university. It's a pleasure to see you back on campus as much as you are. And we certainly in our baseball program appreciate everything that you've done for us. And on a personal note, myself and my family certainly appreciate you and Candace and your entire family as well. So again, congratulations and go green.
Okay.
Exceptional, Libby. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Awesome.
Now I want, go ahead,
Yeah.
Derek.
Oh, no. And yeah, that's awesome. And with that, I'd like to bring on the Commissioner of the Big Ten, Kevin Warren. Thank you for being so patient, Commissioner Warren. He's the 6th commissioner in Big Ten history. He's a former standout athlete. He got a BA from Grand Canyon University, an MBA from Arizona State University, a law degree from Notre Dame. He was a former COO of the Minnesota Vikings, which is hard for me to say as a Packer fan. And then the one fun fact that I read about you, Commissioner, is that your father was a football player for the Brooklyn Dodgers in 1948. So this is where we are. And with that, welcome, Commissioner Kevin Warren.
Thank you. I really appreciate the invitation to come on. There's so many friendly faces here. First and foremost, I would just like to thank Laura Farber for everything she has done for the Big Ten, her leadership, It's been an interesting year to say the least. And I actually was formally appointed commissioner of the Big Ten at the Rose Bowl. So it was a special time. And I remember that beautiful, beautiful night in Pasadena. And we never could have expected that we would face what we faced this year. But with great people like Laura, who will remain steadfast and be positive and a lot of prayer, I'm confident we as a country will pull through this and will be better for it. So again, here just Big Ten Club of Southern California. Again, I'd like to congratulate you all for being consistent and honoring so many of our great leaders, our student athletes in the Big Ten. And I appreciate your consistency and really just staying focused on keeping the Big Ten at the forefront of people's minds in Southern California. And then Derek, thank you for your professionalism for organizing all this and inviting me. But really, we're here to honor Steve Garvey. I grew up in Phoenix, Arizona. As Derek said, I was a collegiate student athlete, a basketball student athlete, but I played baseball and football as a young person. And I was a Dodgers fan because in Phoenix, we didn't have a professional baseball team. And both of my parents were Dodgers fans for a lot of different reasons. One, because they gave a young man by the name of Jackie Robinson an opportunity to play professional basketball. So as a young Black boy in Phoenix, the Dodgers were my team. And so I watched all of the games that possibly could. And Steve, it was an honor to watch you. And interestingly enough, I've had this picture on my desk of my Little League baseball team. And one of my coaches there would always tell us to stand tall like Steve Garvey. You know, he always talked about our posture. And that's one thing, Steve, I remember about you was your kind of elegant and sturdy posture of always standing tall. You stood tall as a young kid. You stood tall at Michigan State. You stood tall at the Dodgers, and you stood tall at the Padres, and you have stood tall even in your retirement. And I would just like to congratulate you for that, to thank you for everything you have meant to the Big Ten. And as always, being a good lawyer, I always have to do my research and read about you, although I knew a lot about you already. But one story really struck out to me is the fact that, you know, and it doesn't surprise me of your consecutive game streak, but one story stuck with me was, I guess, when you went on your visit to Michigan State, you said that there was an airplane strike. And so you and your mother had to take a bus from Florida to East Lansing. And you said the trip took you like 20 hours. I think you mentioned in the article that your dad had worked at Greyhound. But that's why I'm not surprised of your amazing career that you had, and the amazing life you have lived, and also your consecutive game streak, is because so many people nowadays, if they had an opportunity to visit a university, especially up north, and they couldn't fly there and had to take a bus, they would say, we'll do it at a later date. But I just think it showed what you stood for. But even bigger than that, it showed what your parents stood for. And then typically, you know, apples don't fall far from the tree. And so really, this award that you've earned tonight is not only to you and your family, but is also to your mom and dad for raising you to be a stellar person, for always standing tall, for keeping your commitments and going out there to play when you don't feel perfect. So again, on behalf of the Big Ten, we just want to congratulate you for your amazing career, not only at Michigan State, but like I said, in the big leagues, and for everything that you've done, for you to continually stand tall. And I'm honored to serve our many alumni across the world, and our current 10,000 student athletes. Has been a trying year, but as you know, what we're going to do in the Big Ten, we're going to continually stand tall and work through all of these issues. And I'm confident at the appropriate time, when we turn around and look back on 2020, although it wasn't perfect, but we grew as a people, and most of all, I believe we all grew spiritually. So Steve, congratulations to you, your family, your parents, and thank you for an absolutely incredible legacy, and go green.
Thank you, Mr. Commissioner.
Very nice.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right.
Mr. Commissioner,
award in the car there? Do you have the
The one
award in the car
thing-
with you?
Yes, I do. It's right here. Can you see it?
Yes.
It's a beautiful.
I think he said it's
cut
beautiful.
glass.
There you go.
I'm going to have a prominent and wonderful work. Yes. And the commissioner's words were wonderful. His theme of standing tall. I was always known for standing upright and almost little movement. And I thought the simplicity of hitting sometimes is the best way to get to A from A to B. And that's from your position with your bat to making contact, simple as possible, to concentrate on the extraneous distractions away out gig with hard work. So that's what the commissioner and his staff and the Big Ten have done this year, along with the NCAA. It's just an inspiration from all of us who have played the games, to all the fans watching, that this hard work has given us really the heart of America, and that's sports, something to look forward to, something to hold on to cherish what we've had in the past, and look forward to, as we talked about at the beginning of this Zoom, to the normal of the future. So again, it's an honor to be with you.
Awesome. Well, yes, thank you again, Commissioner Warren. That was amazing. All right, Steve, are you ready? We're going to
Yes, sir.
jump into a little quick story time with you if you're up for it.
I'm
You
ready.
Okay.
Yep.
I just want to give people a sense, because I just read your book and I thought it was pretty amazing how you were a bat boy for these legends of baseball, the Brooklyn Dodgers and the Yankees, et cetera, because your father happened to be a bus driver for the teams in Tampa when you were growing up. And I just thought it was an amazing kind of childhood that led you to where you were. So on screen, I have just a couple shots of you as a little kid playing baseball, and with some legends like Sandy Koufax and Gil Hodges, et cetera. So what was
That's right.
being a bat boy like for those legends?
Oh, Lord. Well, my family was from New York originally, and one thing led to another. And my father, who had a great gas station on Route 27 out to the Hamptons, was offered kind of an even up exchange for a motel in Tampa, Florida. And his client who captured him on a cold winter night, Mary, you got it. My parents and my grandmother moved down probably about 4 weeks later. That was January of 1948. There was a reason why the fellow didn't want the motel. It was 2 miles off the beaten path. It needed a lot of work. So they found out within a year that it wasn't the right place for them, but they stayed in Florida. I was born in December of 48. And my dad ended up working for Greyhound by 1956. And he came home the end of March of 1956 during spring training time, only about a week left. And he sat down at the table. Mom was the secretary. She came home and a dinner made. And without saying much, he said, "You want to skip school tomorrow?" And I said, "Dad, really? What are we going to do?" He said, "Well, I have a charter tomorrow to pick up the Brooklyn Dodgers from the Tampa airport and take them to St. Pete to play the Yankees in an exhibition game." And for all the historians, this was the spring after the fall of '55 when the Dodgers beat the dreaded Yankees for the first time. So they were world champion Dodgers. So the next morning we got the bus. We drove to the tarmac of Tampa International Airport about 8 o'clock. About 8:15, Dad and I were standing in front of the bus, and in the distance there was a DC-7 prop jet that was banking, and one of those beautiful Florida pink and gray mornings. And all of a sudden it landed and it passed us, and it had Dodgers on the side and a baseball on the tail, and pretty heady stuff for a 7-year-old. It taxied back and it ended up about 40 yards from us. They pushed up the ramp. There were no concourses back then. The door opened up, and there was Walter Alston, the first person off, the great Hall of Fame manager. And then there was Pee Wee Reese and Gil Hodges and Duke Snyder, and all the boys of summer that Roger Kahn had written this wonderful book way back in the 70s. So my dad had started the second Little League in Tampa with 3 other gentlemen. And the following Saturday, 3 days later, we were going to open it up and have the first day. And I had started collecting baseball cards. So I had them in my hand, and the players would walk by, and I would rifle through my cards to see who they were. And my wife, Candace, and I, you mentioned our book, did a book called My Bat Boy Days about 8 or 9 years ago. And the first chapter talks about this magical day where it was almost as if the players walked off the Topps cards and came to life. And, as they went by it, remember guys when, some of you guys, I'm probably the oldest, but anyway, I used to wear flat tops with bushwhacks and look like a porcupine. Some of the guys would pat me on the head, and they couldn't believe my hair was standing that straight like a porcupine. And we got on the bus. 40 minutes later, we were right outside of Al Lang Field, which was the spring training stadium of the Yankees and the Cardinals. And the guys were getting off the bus, and I was standing outside. They were grabbing their bags. And all of a sudden, a man about 5'8" comes out. He's got a little cigar and a strap T-shirt. And he goes, "Hey, kid, you want a bat boy today?" And I looked at my dad. Dad said, "You want it?" I said, "Dad, can I?" He says, "Yeah." He said, "Well, get those bats and balls and those bags and get them out to the dugout. The guys are going to be out in 20 minutes. So, of course, the bat bag was bigger than me, and the ball bag, I could barely move. So Dad helped me and got it out to the dugout, and I put the bats in the rack and the helmets in their little slots. And I was hearing, of course, the Yankees were taking batting practice, and I turned around, and there was number 7 for the Yankees, Mickey Mantle, hitting these towering balls over the fence into Tampa Bay. And I had my mouth open, and I was just in awe. There were the Yankees. I was going to bat boy for the Dodgers. And all of a sudden, I heard, "Son, you want to play catch?" And I had my glove on my belt. That's what you used to do back then. And it was Gil Hodges, who was about 6'4", matinee, handsome. And I said, "Yes, sir." So I fumbled. I got my glove, tied my belt up. And he got about 15 feet away, and he kind of tossed a ball with an arc. And I caught it. I'm thinking, I'm starting Little League. I can catch. And he threw one with a little more pace, and I caught that one. Then I heard, and I looked over, and boom, ball hit me right in the chest. And he hurried over. "Are you okay, son? You okay, son?" And I said, "Yes, sir." "I'm sorry, I should have caught it." He said, "No." He said, "Were you watching Mickey hit that ball?" And I said, "Yes, sir." And then probably the greatest moment of education outside of my parents at my young age, he looked at me and he said, "Son," and I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "We're the world champions." And I said, "Yes, sir. I won't watch again." So from that moment, Candace and I looked up old sporting news. The Dodgers won that day, I think 5-3. Jackie Robinson was with the team. That was going to be his last spring. He played in that game. There was a time we determined about the middle of the game when Hodges and Reese were next to me. I was sitting on the bench. They were talking about the opposing Yankee pitcher, and all of a sudden I feel this weight on me, and I look, and it's Jackie Robinson. And he looks, he goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, son." He said, "I didn't mean to do that." And I said, "Well, that's okay, sir. That's okay." And I'm thinking to myself, well, Monday show and tell, nobody's going to believe Jackie Robinson sat on my lap. And I did the show and tell, and not too many people believe that. But that day was the beginning of of me falling in love with the game. That night I went home and dreamed about being a Dodger. And lo and behold, 12 years later, out of Michigan State, my sophomore year, back then, you could sign professionally after your sophomore year. I was drafted in the first round by the Dodgers, and that began the next phase, from bat boy to doing pretty well and in high school, and then having 25 offers for football and baseball, and making the decision that Michigan State was the school for me, and arguably one of the great decisions of my life. Having that education in Michigan State, but that foundation of also playing collegiate football and baseball, and then getting a chance to become a professional. So up until that age of about 19, the foundation was laid. And like the commissioner said, the true foundation is your family, your parents, the love they give you, the teaching, the foundation of being honorable, being a gentleman or a lady, being fair and just and kind and merciful, working hard, making the core of your life, your family, the most important element. And of course, once you leave home, like I did to Michigan State, and this was mentioned earlier, now you learn about community. You learn about all the elements of life that just happen to encompass an institution like Michigan State and all of the Big Ten schools and almost all of the NCAA, obviously. So that community I was able to take from and then graduate a little over 2 years later, and to go on into my early adult life and my professional life as a professional baseball player.
That's amazing. Yeah, those are some awesome stories. So I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. So I have a picture of you and your father, Big Joe, as I heard you call him. My father is listening as well, and we call him Big Joe as well. So shout out to my dad. But yeah, your dad drove the Greyhound around. Yeah. But here are some pictures from your Michigan State days. I thought it was amazing that you played both football and baseball then. And I'm going to skip ahead here just to get to, we have a couple more tribute videos for you with the Dodgers. So without further ado, here's a couple minutes worth of videos.
Hi, Garv. You know, we've been teammates and locker next to each other for a long time. And of course, we've been friends even longer. I'd like to take this moment to pass along congratulations to you for becoming the Big Ten Club's Person of the Year. Congratulations, my friend. We'll see you soon.
Hello, everyone. I'm Ron Say, and I'm here tonight to say congratulations to your honoree, Steve Garvey. Steve and I were teammates for 10 years with the Dodgers. We played in the longest running and most successful infield in Major League history. We played in 4 World Series and were world champions in 1981. And Steve has been a Dodger legend and a Dodger fan favorite for many, many years. So I'd just like to say Michigan State is a very proud university to have the Big Ten Club 2020 Person of the Year.
Congratulations, Garv, on the Big Ten Club Person of the Year, Spartan of the Year, whatever you want to be, because I know you were outstanding back there at Michigan State and, of course, in a Dodger uniform. One of my role models is a Dodger. I was planning on doing this for about 4 minutes or so, but I'm only going to do it for a minute because we're on 25% capacity when it comes to sporting events and things like this. And I know that it's really exciting for you to get this award. I think it's very well deserved that you get it as one of the top Spartans that went to Magic Johnson University. So I think that's fantastic for you and an amazing thing. And you know, I think back to my days as a young Dodger, and there was this thing called the Green Hornet, and I'm wondering if Green and Michigan State has a lot to do with you, with all the pranks that were done around the Dodger facilities. Maybe it was you, maybe it was Jerry Royce, maybe it was Jay Johnstone, but I think you might have had something to do with it, especially with that green. Congratulations, Garv.
Hi, Steve. I'm so happy to be here tonight in video form to congratulate you on one more honor, one more accomplishment in an amazing career and an amazing life. One of the great things that I experienced when I joined the Dodgers about 8 years ago was being a part of this amazing legacy of stars and people who really not just played the game, but improved the game and made it be what it is today. And that's why I was so proud to be a part of the presentation 2 years ago to you in the first class of Dodger legends. You are, of course, a Dodger legend, not just to people in LA, but all of Southern California, even though we don't really like to think about those San Diego years. As you may know, this year we won the World Series. I don't know if you've heard about that yet, but I'd like to remind everyone. And from someone who's enjoyed the most recent championship to someone who has had a championship in the past and represented us with a class that is really unmatched by anyone. Congratulations on this award. I'm glad the people of the Big Ten and Michigan State appreciate you as much as we do. Maybe not quite as much as we do, but I'm sure they appreciate you a great deal, as symbolized by this great award tonight. So enjoy the evening. Congratulations again, and go Dodgers. And just thought I'd remind you. Bye. Thanks.
All right, there you go, Steve.
That's wonderful. You know, to Ron and Steve, Oral, Stan, really the past and the present of the Dodger organization. Wonderful people to work with and play with, to watch lead the Dodgers and finally this championship. It's great to have a legacy with this organization, and of course, the great game of baseball.
Yeah, it's so nice. Everybody who we reached out to was like, of course, he's the best guy, whatever I can do. So thank you to all the Big Ten people who helped out gathering those videos. And before we're going to do a little Q&A, if people want to post questions in the chat, we'll get to some of those. But I wanted to, before, make sure we hit on this for you. You do so much community service involvement. And I just wanted to bring up Fans for the Cure, which I know you're on the board of, and I know it's very important to you. If you could give a couple minutes to that. And before you do, I want to just acknowledge that the Big Ten Club of Southern California is going to make a $500 donation to you for this honoree. So thank you so much in advance. And we'd love to hear Fans for the Cure.
Yeah, thank you so much. Back in 1974, you know, I was still relatively young. That was the first World Series year. We lost to Oakland. But I had been contacted at the end of September if I would be part of 10 athletes honored at a wonderful dinner for the MS Society at the Century Plaza. It was really the first big charity dinner I had ever been to. And of course, being Parr and Bobby Orr and Will Chamberlain, it was a wonderful evening. And I learned more about MS, which is the cripple of young adults. After the dinner, I went up to the director of the MS Society, Southern California, and learned. I said, you know, anything I can do to help. They said, we'll call you on Monday. So that began my opportunity to truly give back. For a number of years, I ran the charity celebrity tennis tournament that turned into also a 10K run and a racquetball tournament and a big charity dinner. And we were raising $300,000 to $500,000 a weekend way back in the 70s and early 80s. But it also opened up institutionally about, I would say 5 years. The wonderful Mark Litwin, who's the chair of urology at UCLA, was my doctor. And he was very thorough. And, you know, my wife, the first 9 questions to our first meeting. And then I finally asked, because, you know, the women drive us to these things. And I said, finally, what would you do, Mark? And he said, I'm at the top of my game, Garv. He was a fan too. 55. He said, let me take it out and let's just rid yourself of this. And he did. And through the grace of God, I didn't have any extensive cancer from it. I've been cancer free. I decided that I wanted to be a foot soldier for the fight against prostate cancer. I contacted a fellow by the name of Ed Randall in New York, who started a prostate cancer foundation, Fans for the Cure, about 5 years earlier. It's the preeminent grassroots prostate cancer foundation. We're in over 150 stadiums with awareness nights every year. Michael Milken has a wonderful prostate foundation in LA. We lay the foundation, the education, and he really gets involved in all elements of research and reaching out, nutrition, et cetera. So it's a team effort, as with anything that we do in life where we help others. So, you know, I've always thought we, just like Libby said, life is God's gift to us. What we do with it is our gift to him. And through associations like Fans for the Cure, baseball assistance team, where we donate probably $5 million in grants every year to needy members of the baseball family, to MS, to ALS. One daughter is diabetic. All of our families are touched by some form of medical illness, and when we have the opportunity to help others, it's truly our gift.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, thank you so much. All right, Steve, we have 3 minutes left. So I'm going to ask 2 quick questions. If I can get 2 quick answers, that'd be awesome. If you had to play baseball in one more baseball game, would it be in a Dodgers or Padres uniform?
Or Spartan uniform.
Yeah, Spartans.
Steve?
I'm going to say Dodgers.
We've got a wonderful, great little notes from everybody here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. You just cut
We
off
can hear you
for
now.
a minute. Steve, do you think you could have played professional football? That was asked by Steven Henson.
Can you hear us, Steve?
I think his answer is yes as well. At least for the Vikings, maybe not the Packers.
Yeah.
Hi there.
Sorry, Commissioner.
Sorry about
Steve,
that.
I don't know if you missed the question, but Stephen asked, do you think you could have played professional football if you focused on that?
Well, I went there as kind of a East-West rollout quarterback out of Tampa Chamberlain, and I think I was honorable mention All-State. But that when you mentioned that visit to Michigan State, Danny Litweiler, the baseball coach, took me into the Jennison Fieldhouse on our trip, my mom and I, and he was showing us the trophies, and all of a sudden around the corner comes Duffy Daugherty, and we were to find out later on it was all staged, but he comes up and he goes, "Danny, is this the boy from Florida?" He says, "Yeah, Duffy, he was just drafted by Minnesota, but he wants to play football and baseball, and pretty good quarterback." You can play football, you can play baseball. If you can hit a golf ball, we'll figure out a way to have you play that. And then he looked at me and he said, "But we got 22,000 co-eds, so you're bound to get a date on Friday night." And we laughed, and my mother, who wasn't laughing, said, "George, he's coming here to study. He's coming here to learn. And if he's got some free time, he'll play a little football and baseball." So they knew who they were dealing with then. They knew that Millie Garvey was the queen. But about the third day of practice, we had tackling drills. And of course, I had played some defense too. And I did pretty well. And the coach says, "We're short on cornerbacks. Would you play some corner this afternoon in the scrimmage?" I said, "Sure." Well, I intercept a pass. I use my quarterback knowledge. I turn the tailbacks in. I make some tackles. And at the end of practice, coach comes up and he said, "Steve, you're going to split your time now." Well, within a week, I was starting cornerback. And the only problem is I wasn't very fast. So I was quick for 15 yards, and I used to yell for help to the safety. So back then I could get away with it because back in 66, 67, there was a lot of running and not as much passing. So I enjoyed hitting, so I took that on. But I think God made the right decision for me. We always say it was an IQ test. Should I play baseball for the Dodgers, or should I take on 300-pound pulling guards and tackles from Michigan, Ohio State, Northwestern, Nebraska? And I think I made the right decision.
Yeah, safe to say you made the right decision. That's awesome.
Didn't you play against O.J. Simpson? Or something? Put up that picture of him playing football.
Picture you just saw. I'm just about to tackle O.J. in a great game in September of 1967. It ended up 21-17. USC beat us. It was 21-17 at the half. Both teams made adjustments. I think 3 or 4 tackles against OJ, but they had an Olympic track team. So for anybody that's played defensive back, you usually line up, especially corner, 4 yards out, 4 yards back. I lined up 4 yards out, 10 yards back, facing the end zone, so that hopefully I wouldn't get beat deep. But I truly love playing football. That's why I probably didn't go to Florida or Miami or Auburn or probably 4 or 5 other schools, because they all wanted me to just stick with one sport, and I wanted to play both, and that really is what clinched the deal with Michigan State. And Danny Litwell, of course, was a legend, Hall of Fame college baseball coach, as was Duffy Daugherty. So those two, with their instruction and their discipline, their ability to teach discipline, passion, teamwork, selflessness, really laid the foundation for my professional career.
That's awesome. All right, so it is now 8:02. We're going to wrap this up. I'm going to give Mark the final words, but before I do, Mr. Garvey,
yes, sir.
I have a special early birthday present for you, which is December 22nd. So everybody put that in their calendars. But you are now an honored lifetime member of the Big Ten Club of Southern California. So you get a certificate in all.
Thank you.
But we would all like to thank you so much for your time tonight. And again, before we wrap this up, Mark, you have the final words. Thank you for everybody for participating. Laura, Kevin, all of my Big Ten friends on the screen, all the attendees who showed up, asked questions. This was awesome. Mark, take it away and wrap this sucker up, buddy.
All right, and I'm going to give Mr. Garvey an autographed baseball from me as his birthday present, and then he could send one back. I just want to say really quickly, as I was watching the beautiful video that Derek put.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Happy early birthday, and in watching your video and what you're doing for prostate cancer, and in watching the video that Derek put together, I did want to just say that sadly, as I was watching the video, I realized we've lost a lot of members of the Big Ten Club and honorees and so forth. And I just would like to raise a final glass to those members who have come before and have helped establish this community, and for all of us who continue on with those traditions and who are truly giving back. And Mr. Garvey, you're using your fame and your celebrity for all the right reasons and helping people. And that is what the world is about. And that's what sports and entertainment and things like that, it's where they can really make a difference. So thank you. Cheers to you. Cheers to all of us. Here's to good health and a beautiful new year.
And to everybody, thank you for the honorary membership. And this evening was wonderful. I'll be a disciple for you from this point on. Not that I haven't heard about you and wondered, I hope they call me one of these days. But happy holidays to everybody. Semper Fi, and God bless.
God bless.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Everybody out there.
Please.